All right, this is section 9.1 scatter plots, okay? If you were able to print out the guided notes, you can have those now. If you aren't able to at home print out the guided notes, that's fine. Go ahead and just get out some sort of piece of paper or your math notebook obviously would be what I'd prefer you to take notes on, but something that you can write down some notes, okay? This is going to be a little bit of an extended time, all right? We think it's only going to be this week, and then we have another week after spring break. That's what we think it is right now, but if not, okay, you need to have something. If it's a notebook or something that you can get where you can take all your notes on here, because I don't know how long this is going to last. Okay. And if you can't print out the guided notes, then you need something where you can take some good notes at in math. Okay. So like I said, we're doing section 9.1 scatter plots today. Okay. You have two definitions that I want you to write down. Again, if you're able to print out the guided notes, great. You can just fill them in. If not, you're going to have to write down these two definitions. Okay. But a scatter plot is a graph with 2 points plotted to show a relationship between two sets of data. Okay, so we're looking at different kinds of graphs now. Okay, we're not actually going to connect any lines or anything yet. All we're going to do is plot points. Okay, and this is the first one, which is called a scatter plot. The second definition we have there is a correlation. A correlation describes the type of relationship between two data sets. Okay, all we're focused on is two data sets, and I'll show you a little bit about what that means as we move forward. Okay. As I move down here, we have types of correlations. Okay, the first one I have is a positive correlation. Okay, on a positive correlation, you're going to have, if you notice, if you look at the actual points here as you're looking at them on your screen, you can see they're pointing upwards. Okay, they're all the points as it goes farther this way, everything goes up in a way like this. Okay, that's positive correlation. The same thing here, you can see them going up to each other, really close to each other. Okay, now the difference between a strong positive correlation and a weak positive correlation is if you notice how close the points are to each other. Okay, in this strong correlation, the points are all packed in really tight. Okay, that's a strong positive correlation. Over here, it's still going up, but if you look at it, okay, the points are more spread out. That makes it a weak correlation, okay? So there is something you need to fill out there on your guided notes. All right, next I have no correlation, okay? And no correlation is pretty simple, okay? There's no pattern. They are just a bunch of random points graphed on this graph. Okay, no correlation. And then the last one I have here is a negative correlation. Again, you can see weak and strong. Okay, they're pointing down. Okay, pointing down. That's where you get the negative from. And you can see the difference between a weak and strong. On the weak one, the points are more spread out. On a strong one, they're all nice and compact right there. That makes it strong. It's very obvious that it's a negative correlation there. Okay? All right. So we've got, again, a scatter plot and correlation. We've already written that down. And then we have three types. We have a positive when the points point up. We have a no correlation that has no pattern. And I've got a negative correlation because it's pointing down. Okay? All right. It says use the given data to make a scatter plot of the weight and height of each member of a basketball team and describe the correlation. Okay, so if you were able to print out the guided notes, you should have a graph that looks a lot like this on it. Okay, use that if you have it. Okay, if you don't have it, you know what? I'm going to do it without the graph just so you can kind of get a feel of how I'd want you to do this. So the first thing I want you to do is make your X and Y axis. Now, the question I want you to ask yourself is, why am I not making a graph like this? Well, I don't need negatives in those quadrants, okay? So all I can't have negative heights or negative weights on a basketball team, okay? So all I need is this first quadrant right here, quadrant 1, okay? That's why I do just this L shape here for that quadrant, okay? All right. Now, The next thing I'm going to have to do is my X and Y axes. Okay, so for my X and Y axes, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to, I got to redraw this. I've got to, okay, this is very hard on this pencil. I'll just be honest with you. All right. So when I make this, again, I'm going to try one more time to get this nice and drawn. Okay, so I draw a nice straight line that way and then a nice straight line that way. Okay, now I need to graph all of these heights and all of these weights. Now, the lowest height is 68, so I'm going to start with 68 right there. And then I'm going to count up to the highest one, which is 74. So you can do the same thing here. Okay, 68, 69. Whoops, that's 68. Okay, let me go back again. Again, I'm trying to figure out this pen. By the end of this, I think I'm going to be a professional at this. There's 69. There's 70. There's 71. 72. 73. And 74. Okay, and then the next thing you can look at is its weight. So when I go up to weight, okay, there's the lowest is 160, the highest is 190. So I'm going to count by 10 each time. I'm going to start here. I'm going to go 160, and then 170, and then 180, and then 190. Okay, so you should have a graph that looks just like mine now. Again, if you have the graph on your guided notes, you can use those lines. If not, just draw something like I do. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. Now, let's graph the first one. It says the height was 71 and their weight was 170. So I'm going to go to 71 here and I'm going to go up to 170 and I'm going to put my point. And then if I go to 68, I'm going to go up to 160. For 70, I'm going to go to 175. So I'm going to go here and go right in the middle. For 73, I'm going to go up to 180. And for 74, I'm going to go up to 190. Okay, and I've graphed all 5 of my points. Okay, so it's said to use the given data to make a scatter plot of the weight and height of each member and then describe the correlation. Well, looking at this, okay, remember we had our three different kinds. We had a positive, we had a no correlation, we had a negative correlation. Okay, well, looking at my graph here, which one does this look like? I would say that this looks like a positive correlation. So you can write down here positive. Okay, good. And that makes sense. Okay, you would say that typically on a basketball team, if the taller the person was, they probably would weigh more. Okay, you can kind of understand how that's a correlation. You know, another positive correlation would be like amount of snow we got in a winter and the amount of snow days that we have. You know, if we get a ton of snow, we're probably going to get more snow days. All right. Another one might be, you know, temperature at the beach. Okay, the higher the temperature at the beach, the more people that are probably going to go to the beach. Okay, trying to think of, you know, an example of a, you know, and then you know, if you think about a no correlation, well, let's think here for a second. No correlation. The amount of snow we get in Ohio has nothing to do with the amount of people that are at the beach in Miami. Okay, those have no correlation. They have nothing to do with each other. All right, let's look at this last one here. Make a scatter plot of the data and draw a line of best fit. Again, I'm going to do exactly how we did it last time. Okay, I'm going to draw my L here. All right, so I go down and I go over. Okay. Now for this, I'm going to put hours down here. So I didn't do this on the last one, but I'm going to do this now. I want to label. All right, let's label this hours. And over here, we'll put tips. Okay. So for hours, it goes up to 12. Let's count by 4s. Okay. So we'll go 4, 8, 12. And then for tips, it goes up to 26. Let's count it by 5s. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Okay, if I start here for hours, all right, in 4 hours they made $12. So I'm going to go put a point somewhere like right there for 4. Okay, for 8 they made $20. So I'm going to go 8 and 20 right there. For 3 hours they only made $7. So they're right there. For 2 hours they made 7. So they're right there. And then for 11 hours made 26. So he's all the way up about there. Okay, again, I've got 5 things I needed to graph, so I have 5 dots. Looking at that graph again, as the hours increases over here and the tip money increases over here, the graph went up. So again, it asks you, what's the correlation? Well, in this case here, we're going to say positive. Okay, please ignore that right there. We are not concerned with that yet. Okay, so you can see pretty easily, yeah, and that makes more sense. The more that someone works at a job like a waiter or a waitress, they're going to make more money. So more hours mean more money. Okay, so that's where we get the positive correlation. All right, you are good to go ahead and take a look at this homework assignment, okay? This homework assignment does not have to be submitted until Friday. Okay, so if you're watching this on Friday, it's due. But if you're watching it on Thursday, that's great. It is not due until Friday at midnight. Okay, so if you're watching this video right now, just get it done. It's a very simple worksheet. It's posted on Canvas. If you're able to print it out, just do it on, just print it out and do it right on the worksheet. If you can't print it out, just draw, just do each problem like we would if it was in the textbook. Okay, good to go. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.